In Syria, Secretary of State Baker meets with President Assad and gets nowhere. His peace effort is in jeopardy. In Iraq, UN officials plan to take over some of the refugee camps built by U.S. forces, with no sign that the Americans there are about to come home. And in this country, our national parks and the people who make money in them. Why are taxpayers not getting their fair share?
This is NBC Nightly News, reported by Garrett Utley.
Good evening. It was called a window of opportunity. The end of the war in the Gulf, the defeat of Iraq, an opportunity to tackle the central conflict in the Middle East, Israel and the Arabs. But today it seems that window may no longer be open. Perhaps it never was. But Secretary of State James Baker has been trying hard to get the two sides to sit down at a peace conference table. Each side, though, has been setting tough conditions. And a key country in all this is Syria. And today it did not budge an inch from its demands. Here's our correspondent, John Dancy.
Baker left Damascus tonight with nothing on the two major issues dividing Syria and Israel. A senior administration official aboard Baker's plane said he made no particular progress today, despite almost 6 hours of talks with Syrian President Hafez Assad. Assad continued to insist on power for the international community to impose decisions on the conference, and for the conference to be a permanent body, both conditions Israel rejects. As Baker arrived in Cairo, a senior administration official conceded Baker is keeping the rest of his schedule because, he said, it would be dishonorable not to. But the rejection by Syria of two key Israeli demands seems to doom the conference Baker originally envisioned. Baker met tonight in Cairo with Soviet Foreign Minister Alexander Besmertnik, who is also crisscrossing the Middle East trying to help put the peace conference together. Baker tried to put the best face on the failure with Assad, but he sounded somehow like a man trying to sell a used car.
Many things have been agreed upon. One or two things, really only one or two, maybe three, have not. So our job is to continue to work on those things that have not quite yet been resolved.
But Israel's Yitzhak Shamir has made it clear to Baker in previous meetings, Israel will not allow the UN to dictate to Israel. Too much chance the rest of the world will gang up on Israel, he says. Shamir also wants only a ceremonial opening for a conference, not one that continues indefinitely. Israel thinks that would bring pressure to get peace at any price. Shamir also repeated his hard line on the occupied territories, saying, we will not yield not only on Jerusalem, but on the smallest sliver of Greater Israel, meaning the occupied territories. An aide to Shamir also dismissed yesterday's offer by Persian Gulf states to attend a peace conference as unimportant.
Baker continues to insist that there are many more areas of agreement than disagreement. The problem is the areas of disagreement are fundamental ones, what Baker calls deal breakers. Garrett?
John, we've been through all of this before many times. What does Baker do now?
Well, the State Department has begun to surface talk of perhaps having some sort of a lesser conference, one that wouldn't even include Syria, or that would deal with cooler issues, things like water resources, not war and peace.
But could there be a conference without Syria? And if so, would it really amount to anything important in terms of the political problem between Israel and the Arabs?
It's difficult to see how it would amount to anything. The one big player, of course, is Syria, the country that can effectively make war against Israel. Without Syria, it is hard to see how a peace conference could amount to much. Garrett?
All right, John Dancy in Cairo, thank you. And there were few encouraging words coming from Israel today. As John just mentioned, the government there said the decision yesterday by Saudi Arabia and 5 small Gulf nations to attend a peace conference, if one is held, as an observer, was not that significant. Israel says it wants Arab participants, not observers. Well, behind all of these official statements and all of this diplomatic maneuvering, there are the real forces driving this long conflict. On one side, the Palestinians who want a state of their own. Finally, on the other, the many Israelis who claim the land they occupy, especially Jerusalem, is theirs and theirs to keep. Tonight, Martin Fletcher takes us on site to Jerusalem with right-wing Israeli demonstrators.
Every event here becomes a political statement. They're marching here to celebrate Jerusalem Day.